Welcome to today's MS session on nutrition. My name is Fatima Abu Labada and I am your moderator for today. I was diagnosed with MS 12 years ago and I'm now an integrative health coach, hoping to bridge the gap between neurologists and doctors and their patients, helping them with better their lifestyle to better manage their disease. Before we get started and introduce our guest speaker and yourselves, I wanted to go over the National MS Society and its policy and its purpose. So the National MS Society, established under the Ministry of Community Development, is a UAE-based NGO created to help the lives of people with MS through education, advocacy, and advancing global efforts in finding a cure. MS Circle is an intimate themed discussion for and by the people with MS, with the presence and support of professionals on various fields. The purpose of these circles is to have in-depth conversations about topics that are important to people with MS. Also an opportunity for decision makers and society to hear directly from people with MS on their needs and challenges, finding ways to support them. So I know you all have had a chance to, there's a form on your chairs. If you can sign them, it gives permission for the MS Society to videotape, record, and they will use it on their website and on their social media platform. So if we can make sure we've read that and hand it over to Rasha or Sarah. Have you all done that?
Yes.
You have? Okay, great. So our guest speaker this evening is nutritionist Farah Hello. And welcome to our MS Circle, and thank you for being here this evening. I would like you to go ahead with your impressive bio.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure for me to share my knowledge with you in the hope of empowering you towards your food, your diet, and your overall health. And of course, thank you to Sarah and the wonderful team for inviting me to be here today. So my background, I am a registered dietitian and a integrative and functional nutritionist. I have been living in Abu Dhabi all my life, and I was teaching in UAE University, Zayed University, and I've worked in several clinics. I've worked in public health programs and community nutrition programs, and I love doing awareness events such as this one, again, to empower you all. So what do I mean by integrative and functional nutrition? Because I think everyone knows what a dietitian does. But when I tell people I'm a functional nutritionist, they don't really know what that means. And you're an integrative health coach. So,
Yes.
We work very closely with health coaches as well to help optimize, other people's health and well-being. So a functional nutritionist or functional nutrition under the umbrella of functional medicine is where we consider and we look at the body as a whole. So, sometimes, if someone might struggle with a migraine or digestive issues, they're going to go see either a neurologist or a gastroenterologist. Whereas in functional medicine, you see the body as everything relates to everything. And what happens in the gut is going to impact the brain. What happens in your thyroid will affect your ovaries, and so on and so forth. So we look at the body as a whole. We address root causes. So we're always asking why. Okay, a person has symptoms or a diagnosis, but rather than thinking, okay, this is, maybe the medications or, what you have to take to maybe suppress the symptoms, we're trying to think, why did this happen in the first place? Mm-hmm. What triggered, physiological imbalances, biochemical imbalances? We're trying to understand the root causes of symptoms and diseases so that we can address them at a deeper level. We're also looking, sometimes there are certain tests that physicians use. In functional medicine, we have additional tests that are sometimes recommended that, again, address imbalances at a deeper level. So functional medicine testing. So we look at so that's really the basis of functional medicine and functional nutrition. We see, diet as being a major pillar in addressing conditions such as MS, but in addition to diet, it's mental well-being, it's movement, it's sleep, it's environmental health, and reducing exposure to environmental toxins. So this is how I practice when it comes to my clients. I'm always asking them, when I sit with my clients one-on-one, I'm trying to dig deep. I go through a very detailed history. We go back to sometimes day zero, because when a woman is pregnant with her child, and if she goes through trauma or through stress, that can impact the baby in years to come. So we try to go back to a very detailed history to understand, because where we are today is a sum of all the exposures we've been through. So whatever happened to us in childhood, teenage years, our lifestyle habits, our dietary habits, medications we could have taken, can impact us today. So this is in a nutshell. Before I dig deep into MS, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Please feel free. I'd like this to be an informal discussion. We were supposed to have a cooking demonstration now, but I think because of time, let's start the talk, and then maybe, inshallah, we will do it. Okay. I was told that the talk's going to be in English. If there is some things you want me to explain in Arabic, I will try my best. But feel free to ask me in English and in Arabic. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Farah. That was great. Today's circle is on nutrition and its role on MS. We'll be exploring the role of nutrients and antioxidants, as well as potential benefits on specific diets. So hopefully we'll be able to cover the challenges on maintaining the diets, personalized plans, their benefits, and we'll also highlight how diet and lifestyle changes can complement treatment and enhance the quality of our life. So to start, like Farah said, this would be great if it's informal, and we will be having an open discussion. Any questions you have, please feel free. Hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions by the end of the evening. Okay, so there is no other activity you do every day that has more power to change our biology than what we eat. And there's also no official dietary guidelines for MS. However, making certain changes may help relieve symptoms, MS symptoms such as constipation and fatigue. Can you give us your insight on how, through nutrition, MS patients can manage their disease better?
Sure, thank you. We are, I think, every day bombarded with so much information, from social media to our doctors to our family, and friends. And so sometimes it's really hard to understand what applies for me and what I should be doing. And it's very important, and you said a key word, personalized, and that's our approach, again, going back to functional nutrition, integrative health. It's personalized for each and every one. Now, there are definitely specific or certain guidelines that apply for everybody, but ultimately there are plenty of diets out there, whether it's the Walls Protocol, the Mediterranean diet, the Swank diet. There's plenty of diets out there that are linked to, let's say, or can help individuals with MS. But what works for somebody might not work for you. So it's always better, of course, to work with your dietitian, your nutritionist, to identify what does work with you and what doesn't. Now, some of the pillars, okay? So what are the foods and the nutrients that we need to focus on, and why? First, in order to understand, going back to MS, and I'm sure you've all done your research, any autoimmune condition, okay, takes usually years and years to develop. And in functional medicine, let's say, we believe that there are, for under the spectrum, let's say, of autoimmune conditions, 3 factors. It's like a triage. Genetic factor, a trigger. So the trigger can be a viral infection, a bacterial infection, diet, stress, trauma. But there's usually a trigger, okay? And for example, so, after COVID, we've seen some people who have had COVID, it could have triggered autoimmune conditions. Epstein-Barr virus has been linked to multiple sclerosis. So there are specific viruses for some people, maybe certain dietary foods like gluten or dairy, trauma that acted as a trigger. Okay, so a genetic factor, a trigger, and gut microbiome. Okay, there is a lot of research now that's coming out in terms of, I think maybe over the past 10, 15 years, on the importance of our gut health and the gut microbiome. And more recently, on the link between the gut microbiome and multiple sclerosis. I know that was one of your questions.
Yeah. We'll still get to it.
But, I mean, we can't not talk about the gut microbiome in the context of MS and autoimmune conditions. And of course, I'm going to talk about, how we can improve gut health. But the gut microbiome, we are made up of trillions and trillions of microbes on our skin, in our respiratory system, in our digestive system. Most of the bacteria is in our digestive system, especially in the colon, the large intestine. And we live with them and they live with us. We benefit from them and they benefit from us. So they produce certain vitamins like B vitamins, B9, B12, vitamin K. They can produce something very important called short chain fatty acids. And individuals with MS tend to have a lower production of short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids are very beneficial and they are produced by the good bacteria in our gut. Okay, so short chain fatty acids can cross the blood-brain barrier to reduce any, let's say, neuroinflammation.
Are these proteins that you're talking about?
The microbes are bacteria. By the way, they're not only bacteria, they can be yeast, there can be archaea. So it's microbes, they're not proteins.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll talk about how we can, it's like, you've heard of probiotics, let's say. Yeah. Probiotics and prebiotics. So it's the probiotics. Probiotics are the beneficial bacteria. And that's why a lot of people take probiotics. It's to boost and improve your gut bacteria. Okay? But I'll come back to that. So again, autoimmunity in the context of functional medicine has a genetic predisposition, a trigger, and a gut microbiome factor. Of course, there could be many other factors, environmental factors, plenty, okay? So in terms of nutrition, nutritional deficiencies can also be a trigger. For example, vitamin D, low antioxidant status, vitamin A. So those have all been linked to multiple sclerosis in terms of the progression, in terms of certain symptoms. Some medications that a person might be taking might be depleting some of these nutrients. Okay, in general, many medications, whether it's the birth control pill, whether it's proton pump inhibitors for cholesterol, for MS, sometimes these medications deplete our nutrients. So it's important to keep that in mind and to make sure that we are running frequent blood tests, especially, let's say, for vitamin D, which is very closely linked to multiple sclerosis. So going back to the foundations of, what is a nutritious diet, it's first and foremost one that focuses on anti-inflammatory and antioxidant foods. Because in MS, again, we said it happens years before an official diagnosis, and there's usually oxidative stress, inflammation that's happening, that's triggering the imbalances, and let's say it's an inflammatory and neurodegenerative process. So, but it starts off with, a big part of it is the oxidative stress and the inflammatory aspect of it. So by consuming foods that have a high inflammatory potential, any guesses? What are some antioxidant-rich foods, anti-inflammatory rich foods? You're an integrated health coach, you don't answer. شو رأيكم? Foods in the diet. Let's say in the whatever you might be eating on a daily basis. What do you think? Sorry?
Sugar.
Sugar is inflammatory.
Oh, that's why I thought you said what are the
anti-inflammatory. Sorry. We'll come back definitely to sugar. But what are the anti-inflammatory? Sorry.
Yogurt?
Yogurt because of it's a great probiotic food. Yeah. Now, for some people, dairy might be a bit of a trigger. It can trigger some maybe digestive unrest. Yeah. Although it's a great source of probiotics.
And these are some of the tests that Farah was mentioning. Is when you do go to a functional medicine doctor, they will do tests to test what you are
intolerant
to,
or allergic.
And a lot of people, surprisingly, are intolerant to cow, and they're consuming it every day. Yeah. So that could be part of the trigger. Yeah.
Actually, a vast majority of my clients have at one point shown an intolerance to dairy. So I usually just ask them to avoid it for several weeks, and then we try to introduce it to see how they feel.
Depending on your level of
intolerance.
Some of us, like I have a really high level of intolerance, but that has been the case since I was a child, and it's stuck to me since, even with all the new tests that have come out now with intolerance tests. So, but there are other options. There's goat,
Absolutely.
yogurt,
Sheep, camel.
there's sheep, camel, oats.
The type of protein actually in cow versus sheep, goat, camel is different.
Yeah.
So we're able to digest the type of protein.
It's not casein.
And
in the,
it's a different type of casein.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're better able to digest, but sometimes people can't tolerate dairy at all. Yeah. Okay. Any other anti-inflammatory foods? Think when you're cooking
Plants,
or when you're
vegetables,
eating.
maybe.
Sorry.
Just vegetables and plants.
Absolutely. Okay, so vegetables, green leafy vegetables. If you're using maybe spices, curcumin, ginger,
Yeah.
or turmeric, ginger, berries. So anti-inflammatory foods usually are fruits and vegetables, whole fruits. Okay, so think your orange vegetables, your red vegetables, green. Berries are fantastic.
Berries.
Pomegranate are fantastic. It's a fantastic source of anti-inflammatory compounds. Your anti-inflammatory compounds and your antioxidants are really what can help optimize overall health. Okay. Anything else in terms of diet that you tend to eat on a daily basis that you think is a strong antioxidant? Should I? Fish. Do you eat fish regularly?
Yeah.
Salmon.
Not that.
Omega-3. So omega-3s
So this is our next question,
Your next
actually,
question.
which is great. The MS remains complicated and various factors play a role in the development of MS, such as vitamin D, obesity, and dietary habits. A healthy diet appeared to have an anti-inflammatory effect, especially the omega-3 fatty acids, so which are antioxidants, which you were just mentioning. So yes, talk about that and explain to us why they're so important.
antioxidants in general. Yeah.
The omega-3s.
The omega-3s. Okay, so the omega-3s, for example, salmon, sardines, anchovies, they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids. But then there's other types of healthy fats. For example, flax seeds, walnuts, almonds, avocados, olive oil, that have monounsaturated fats. But in general, omega-3 fats are very, very anti-inflammatory. And we definitely need to eat, fatty fish at least twice a week. I would even suggest having them 3 times a week, incorporating whether it's salmon, it could be roast salmon, you could have it in a salad. Think of different ways in your day-to-day eating that you could add more healthy fats. But one really important note about omega-3s is we are nowadays consuming less omega-3s and more omega-6 fats. Now, omega-6 fats are important, okay? Think of our cells, what lines each cell, the cell membrane is made up of fats, okay? So
Can you give us, some examples of omega-6 fat?
yeah, I will, for sure. So if you think of each cell, okay, and we talk about cellular health and mitochondrial health, which I will come on to, but in the context of MS, a lot of people struggle with fatigue, okay? So with fatigue and with a lot of the symptoms, it means the cells need further support, okay? So the cell membrane is very important because when that is weak, it means it's easier for, let's say, toxins to invade it, okay, and attack what's inside. So we need our fats, okay, the various types of fats. Omega-6, we can find omega-6, for example, in certain nuts and seeds. But unfortunately, nowadays we are eating way too much omega-6 from vegetable oils. So for example, sunflower oil, safflower oil, vegetable seed oils are very inflammatory because we are having them in a very, very high amount. If we're frying foods, or if we're using it to make, rice, for example, or if we're eating crisps, okay, a lot of the packaged foods are high in omega-6 as well. So usually the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 should be 1:1, or any maximum about 4:1. Nowadays, it's more like 25:1. So it's more pro-inflammatory compared to, anti-inflammatory. So we need to bring down our intake of omega-6, especially vegetable seed oils, and increase our
the
intake
trans
of
fatty
omega-3.
acids.
Trans fatty acids it's man-made fat. So trans fat is usually when you're taking more of a liquid form of fat and making it more solid, okay?
To
And
the
that's
oils,
what they put,
vegetable.
usually a canola oil, different types of oils. So you're adding them to things like cakes, cookies, biscuits, crisps.
Can we
Okay.
talk about
Is it not
perhaps
banned
giving some
under-
examples of the oils that are harmful?
Yeah.
That we use, that some of us may use every day.
Yes. I think we rely a lot on canola oil. We rely a lot on the sunflower oil, corn oil. So a lot of these are heavily processed, okay? They're processed and we're using them. It's not only what we're using in cooking, it's what we may be also consuming from other packaged foods.
So what are the alternates? Say
The-
olive oil or rice
Yes.
bran oil, maybe.
So olive oil is actually one of the best foods we can have. Usually, on salads. If you wish to cook with it, just make
Avocado oil.
sure, you're cooking on a low temperature. Avocado oil, coconut oil to an extent. Ideally, we shouldn't be deep frying anything.
Yeah.
So maybe sauteing, and then, definitely adding
You
olive
can
oil onto
also,
your salad.
like I use goat butter
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Onion.
Ghee,
Goat
some
butter?
people might be using
ghee
as,
is-
organic
Yeah.
ghee as well. As long as, we're not seeing that thick layer of oil or ghee. If you're using it in controlled amounts, then those are better options than the
Sunflower.
safflower corn oil. Definitely.
So I wanted to ask, do you endorse any specific diet? Because I know that we have so many diets out there that are either part of researches or that people are discussing in our community, be it the Mediterranean diet or the Walls Protocol. We also have the keto, and a lot of their benefits on protecting the myelin sheath and how it can help patients with MS.
Mhm.
So what do your input
Yeah.
on that?
Look, there are.
I feel like over time, everyone tries so many different things, and through trial and error, everyone's situation is different and every body is different. So
Yeah.
everyone finds out what works for them, because there's no right solution for
Absolutely.
anyone.
Yeah, you're right. And this is what Fatima and I
But-
were discussing.
And that's how you started this conversation. You said the foundation of health and choosing your right foods is quite standard, I guess.
Yes.
And then you just add on to whatever.
There is, look, if you look at the science, okay, in terms of the research, there is documented health benefits, again, in the context of MS, for the paleo diet, for the AIP diet, for the keto diet, for the Mediterranean diet, for the Walls Protocol. So there is documented health benefits, okay? But then sometimes you hear, no, you need to reduce the fat. No, you need to increase the fat. No, you need to stay
protein.
away from carbohydrates. No, you need to eat the fiber. So I think, there are definitely things we can agree on. And
Yeah.
personally, for, general recommendations, I always start with the foundations of a Mediterranean diet, because it's, it's easy.
It's good
It's similar
fats.
to our diet.
Yeah.
It's good, it's moderate in protein. It's high in fiber. It's low in saturated fat. So it's low in, let's say, salt, low in saturated fat, low in trans fat. It's high in omega-3s. It's high in vegetable, plant-based, local, seasonal foods. Again, omega-3s. So this is just as a starting point, okay? Now, for some people, they might get bothered by gluten. For some people, they might feel like nightshades. Nightshades are certain vegetables. So remember, sometimes even the healthiest of foods can be problematic for some people at a certain point in time. It doesn't mean that they need to be avoiding this forever. Maybe, maybe not. But maybe nightshades might trigger you. Nightshades are tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, bell peppers, okay? For some people, for example, legumes.
Is cabbage a nightshade?
Cabbage, no, cabbage is a cruciferous vegetable, which is really good. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage,
Artichoke.
whether it's red cabbage or green cabbage, kale, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. So it's under that umbrella. But yeah, so again, it's, having a diverse diet, avoiding sticking to the same foods over and over. Sometimes it's a matter of just, trying new foods, but really it's learning to listen to our body in terms of what, does it give me pain? Does it, make me feel tired when I eat it? Does it give me any digestive issues? Whether it's dairy, whether it's gluten, whether it's nightshades. For some people, certain legumes and grains might be
Yes,
problematic.
like some people have hummus can
Yeah,
give them bloating, or
chickpeas.
food can give
Yeah.
them
Chickpeas.
bloating.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
really do have to listen to your.
Absolutely. So it's learning to tune into your body. And, sometimes it is a matter of trial and error. I know quite a few people who have tried the AIP, it's the autoimmune protocol, and it's quite strict. Okay, and if it's not done in the right way, it can cause some nutritional deficiencies. So, and even a ketogenic diet, there's plenty of information now to show how beneficial it is, whether it's for MS, cancer. So it can be very beneficial if done the right way.
Yeah, and it has to really be done under supervision.
Under the supervision of,
Because-
your dietitian, who can really guide you in terms of to make sure that you are meeting the nutrients that you need. Going back to, again, the foundations of nutrition. We spoke about we spoke about antioxidant-rich foods, but again, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C. Think of magnesium as well. Magnesium, for example, avocado and dark chocolate, which is in our ingredient over there. Almonds, walnuts. We spoke about omega-3, but fiber. I really want to emphasize fiber.
Yeah,
Why?
constipation is such a common
Constipation
problem
is very common.
with MS, and we have indirect results of even MS symptoms stemming from constipation.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you recommend? What fibers do you recommend we put into our diet?
Yes.
Because that is a really big apart from minerals and, like you said, magnesium.
Yeah. So fiber, there are many different types of fiber, okay? And some people can tolerate fiber, some people find it sometimes problematic. Constipation is an issue, but also, one of the main reasons why we want to promote dietary fiber, it's because it acts as a prebiotic food to boost and to feed your gut bacteria. When you have constipation, sometimes it's a cause. So sometimes when you have an imbalance in your gut bacteria, okay, so more unbeneficial bacteria compared to the good bacteria, that can cause constipation. And then with constipation, it can further cause the overgrowth of bad bacteria. Okay, so again, it becomes like a vicious cycle, but fiber can really help promote regular bowel movements, but it acts as a prebiotic to nourish the growth of the probiotics. So the probiotics are the good bacteria, whereas prebiotics are the food for your bacteria. So for example, oats, legumes, whether it's beans, chickpeas, lentils, leafy green vegetables, whole fruit,
Artichokes
with this
is a big
artichokes
one.
is a great
Chia
prebiotic.
seeds.
Chia seeds and flax seeds. Other prebiotics as well, we mentioned lentils, leeks, celery, onions and garlic. But again, sometimes onions might bloat somebody. So it's what feels right for you. But fiber is crucial.
Yes.
Okay? And remember, we discussed initially that gut health is very important, especially MS individuals with MS do have some level of what we call dysbiosis, an imbalance in their gut bacteria. So feeding the gut microbiome is very important through fiber, through polyphenols. Polyphenols are your olive oil, your berries, pomegranate, unsweetened dark chocolate, leafy greens. So those are all, again, foods that should form our diet.
And always keep in mind that unresolved constipation, because it's a really big problem.
That's the
with
most
MS.
important thing I feel for me.
Yes, it will
yeah.
trigger. It will worsen MS symptoms.
I think more important than what you put in is getting everything out
Yes.
That's
on
how
a daily
need
basis.
That's how you
So different
detoxify.
practices.
So
So yeah.
with magnesium is also a big magnesium citrate.
Citrates, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want to talk about
Yes,
magnesium
sure.
citrate?
So constipation, a lot of people think that constipation and bloating, because they've had it for so long, خلاص, it's normal. It's not, okay? It's your body telling you. Yes, it could be associated to the MS, but maybe you could have had it even before.
Yeah.
So again, listen to what your body is telling you. These are all symptoms. So magnesium, again, with constipation, we need to look at the underlying causes, whether it's, for example, low fiber, whether it's low hydration, whether it's just in general low or suboptimal, or let's say poor motility, movement along the digestive system, okay? So some, in addition to fiber, magnesium citrate, higher doses of vitamin C, those can potentially help get the bowels moving. But then, also in functional medicine, we use quite a bit of herbal supplements, as long as, of course, there's no interaction with any medications that person is taking. But a lot of these herbal supplements can promote motility, the movement along the digestive system.
And when it comes to magnesium citrate, so from my functional doctor, they did recommend if you take because I do the powder.
Yeah.
I don't do the capsules.
capsule.
So he'll say, well, I said, doctor, I still have an issue. I'm taking one tablespoon in the evening. It's like, up it, take 2.
Yeah.
Take 3, take as many as you need until you find the right amount for you. There's no measurement. It's individualized.
Yeah, we always, in general, supplements. If someone is taking supplements, again, it has to be done under the supervision
of course.
of a healthcare practitioner, because there are so many supplements, and sometimes your friend said she takes magnesium and you take magnesium, but there are many different types of magnesium. There's some of them are great for migraines, some of them are great for muscle cramps, some of them are great for constipation.
Exactly.
So again, depending on the type and the dose, with supplements, you have to be very careful because there are certain, like vitamin D, for example. If you have vitamin D deficiency, yes, you need to take vitamin D, maybe 5,000 every day. It depends on your level. But then you need to retest because you can take too much vitamin D, okay? With magnesium, sometimes there are certain vitamins or minerals that your body, let's say, can excrete, okay, depending which ones. But you still want to make sure that you are following up with someone to ensure that you're not taking too much. But magnesium is definitely something that can promote.
Is magnesium fat soluble or water soluble? Do you know?
No. Usually, when fat and water soluble is when we talk about vitamins. So vitamins, vitamin A, C, and B are water soluble. A, D, E, and K are fat soluble. Yeah. Magnesium is a mineral like zinc, iron, copper.
Yeah.
So coming to zinc. Zinc is an important mineral needed for the myelin protein to work properly, and research shows a deficiency in zinc leads to a reduction in myelin formation and myelin recovery. What are some of the food sources we can take apart from the supplement?
Yeah,
which is also very important.
Yes, we always say food first. Yes, I take supplements myself. I give them to my kids. I like to rotate my supplements. We were taught supplements are bad, but we always say, food first by all means, but sometimes we need that extra boost from supplements, again, as long as it's, done the right way. Zinc, for example, meats, red meat, beef, poultry, eggs, usually oysters, yeah. Yeah, so, animal-based foods for the most part. So that might be problematic if someone, is a vegetarian or vegan. But, in general, and there's something important about zinc, especially if you're taking it in the form of a supplement. You can't take too much zinc. And if you take too much zinc, sometimes that can outbalance copper. So again, these things, we need to ensure that we're not overdosing one mineral and not taking enough of something else. But zinc is very important when we talk about immunity. Again, going back to gut health, for example, individuals who get sick quite often, okay, even in autoimmune conditions, we always think what's happening to the immune system. 70 to 80% of our immune system is coming from that gut. Our gut is responsible for our immune system. So when someone has a compromised immune system, also autoimmunity, we think of gut health, but we need to think, of course, immune system, gut health, but how can we improve the immune system? Through zinc, through vitamin C, through vitamin A, and these, anti-inflammatory foods, what we call functional foods. Okay, functional foods are the fruits and the vegetables and the nuts and the seeds that have these antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. So, for example, apples have something called quercetin, turmeric has curcumin. So it's these, and when we eat the food, it's these bioactive ingredients. The food is a functional food. It has the bioactive ingredient that has these anti-inflammatory properties. So it just shows that food is not only we're eating it, we're enjoying it, but food is information. It's sending signals to our to our brain, to our body, to really help nourish it, to our cells. Mitochondrial health is something I spoke about, cellular health and mitochondrial health. Mitochondrial health is also an issue in terms of multiple sclerosis, whether it's fatigue, whether it's impacting inflammation and neurodegeneration. So all of the nutrients that we mentioned, B vitamins, magnesium, are very important, and omega-3 for mitochondrial health.
Yeah, let's talk about the B's. and energy,
Yes.
and why it's so important for patients with MS.
Sure. I will. First of all, any
Yes.
questions?
Yeah.
For now.
Anything? Is there anything you'd like me to repeat? So far, so well. حاسة في كتير أسئلة. شو؟
Maybe individually.
For
Please
sure,
ask.
for sure. I will definitely be here, and we can, outside the camera maybe. Sure.
About zinc,
Yeah.
I don't eat meat.
You don't
I'm
eat
not
meat.
vegetarian,
Yeah.
but I don't eat meat.
Yes.
And I eat zinc, but
supplements.
the doctor said no, don't eat.
You mean you take a
In
supplement?
Yes.
That's
Why did he say or she? Are you taking a multivitamin? Are you taking maybe big doses?
No.
Yeah.
He said
because
don't
the standard
eat the
dose is
zinc.
around 15 milligrams. But they, see, different doctors have different.
Yeah. Usually, I mean, high protein foods will have, higher, let's say animal-based foods will have higher zinc. You can still find it in plant-based foods, for example, certain
No.
nuts, seeds.
Then
But
I will
there are
discuss
some,
that.
right?
There are
Many
require-
things I don't eat. Many things.
Yeah.
And there are
Because-
Eggs.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about, we can broaden that with a little bit of magnesium and zinc. And why is it so hard for us to pull it from food?
Okay. Okay. Shall I answer that and then I'll go back to your
Sure,
other
sure.
question? Look, sometimes it's, what we eat, even many people think that, I eat healthy and, why am I still feeling tired, for example? Remember, the first step is, yes, what's on your plate. But remember, we need to be able to digest our food well. How? First of all, we chew. Digestion starts in the mouth, okay? And then we need to optimize digestion. We need to optimize absorption. So ultimately, going back to gut health, if we have a compromised digestive system, we might not be absorbing or digesting our food very well. So in some ways, we might not be making the most out of these nutrients. But sometimes, again, certain imbalances in our gut can deplete iron, for example, reduce absorption of iron, reduce absorption of vitamin B12. So I think it's optimizing your digestion and absorption. Can you really utilize your nutrients? There are certain foods as well, the way you cook them. If we're boiling foods, yes, that's definitely going to, break down quite a bit of our nutrients. For example, tomatoes. Okay, tomatoes are excellent in lycopene, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds. If you cook it with some, let's say, olive oil, with a healthy fat, for example, olive oil maybe being the most easy, you increase the absorption of certain nutrients in tomatoes. So sometimes it's also that food combination, nutrient synergy. يعني one nutrient supporting the other, and one nutrient sometimes opposing another. Okay, so iron and zinc really, zinc and copper help one another. For example, calcium and magnesium might compete. Calcium and iron, calcium and iron might compete. So if you're iron deficient, if you're taking your iron supplement with a calcium-rich meal, it might, the absorption of iron might interfere. So in general, there's always nutrient synergy. Okay, so there are certain ways,
Like
I'm happy to
vitamin
share
C.
it maybe by email, of how we can improve the absorption and bioavailability of certain nutrients when you pair it with something else.
Like vitamin C, for example.
Vitamin C and iron.
Pair it with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to go around and have everyone introduce themselves, and then we can perhaps answer questions that you may have. So can we start? You?
Hello, I'm Chand. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to share, but
Whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
How are you
like I
finding
said-
the session so far?
I said it's good. It's very informative. Like I said, I think it's as important as what we put in is how we get everything out. It's more important, I feel. So for me, it's just drinking a lot of water.
Right.
Just flushing the body out, the toxins, because it's the toxins at the end of the day. Whatever comes out is toxic, and the body attacks itself. So that's important. For energy, I do have fatigue, so I need to administer B12 to myself once a month. that really helps me.
Yeah, I do too. That
Yeah.
helps.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing.
Hello, I'm Salma. Actually, I get diagnosis with MS since 2 years and a half, and what made me like want to come today that I'm always healthy. I want to eat like healthy food, having balance in my life. I'm coaching in the gym, giving some fitness classes. I'm always taking care of my food, and when I get diagnosed, I was like, what did I did wrong to my body to get something like this? But the thing that we don't know that we really don't take care of a lot of things that we have to take, such as I wasn't taking any like magnesium or taking any like or taking the good amount or measure of vitamin D of my life. So for me, I'm taking vitamin D. It's fine. I'm taking the vitamin. I'm taking care of my life of this thing. But the thing that I have to hire the measure of it, and I have to take more magnesium. I have to take care. There's also like some food that it will affect you, and you don't know that it will be affecting you. So after I'm having MS, I noticed that I'm getting effect of the spicy food. It's really like it could bring all the symptoms, the previous
Flare
symptoms again, and everything again. That's something I would be like, oh my God, I'm having an attack again. But no, it's because only the spicy food. So having more knowledge and like experience and about how you will be balancing your life, but in a real, like in a right way, not you're only balancing your life, only eating healthy, but no, you're not taking the right thing and avoiding the wrong thing. That's what made me like, yeah, I want to come and have more and know more about it actually.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asha. I don't have any experience with MS, or I don't have MS, but I had some chats with people here when I first came in, and some people were asking me, why are you here? And I think it's a responsibility for me as a person working in the healthcare to educate myself more about MS. So this is why I'm here, and I'm happy to meet everyone.
So you work in healthcare.
Yeah.
What's your background in?
I did public health.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Iman. I'm MS patient, so I'm here today. I think I have a healthy lifestyle. I like to avoid junk food, spicy food, anything make me increase fatigue. I like to avoid it. Also, caffeine, it's like make me more fatigue, so I avoid it totally. And especially in this session, I like to increase awareness about vitamins and minerals, as well as I'm pharmacist, so I like to take the totally a healthy thing. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Zainab. I have been diagnosed with MS in 2017. So I have been, let's say, trying everything in regards of, let's say, the protocols that is being published in the market, including the world's protocol. I followed even the author of this protocol and seeing how her life have been changed a lot in terms of, let's say, the diet that she had followed. I came actually to this session to know if there is, let's say, something that we can follow in terms of, let's say, increasing our health and making us better than, let's say, before. But in terms of, let's say, the diet that I have gone through, I start 2 months back of cutting the sugar and bread, which makes me a lot of, let's say, energized in terms of, let's say, my working, like I have been working very hard in terms of cutting the sugar and the bread, which is really working well in terms of, let's say, the diet. So as you said, Farah, maybe it's like unique by each person of, let's say, what they need to follow in terms of their diet. It's not, let's say, a unified diet across everyone.
But alhamdulillah, it's great that you found something that's now working for you and you're feeling great.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
أنا بالعربي.
تفضلي.
أنا حصة موجودة اليوم لأن أبى إجابة لسؤال أو وضع أنا فيه، إن أنا كل ما أسوي رجيم أو أكل صحي أو أمشي في خط أريد أعرف جسمي شو محتاج أو شو يرفض أو شو اللي يسبب لي التعب، أتعب. فأنا أريد إجابة لهالشيء. آكل صحي، آكل خضروات، آكل فواكه، بعدين لما أرجع ينزل ضغطي، أتعب، يصير ما عندي طاقة، فأضطر أرجع للملح وللسكر وأرجع. يعني
برجع إن
ما
شاء الله
أعرف إذا
برجعه.
في إجابة أو لا للسؤال.
في بإذن الله.
إن شاء الله. أتمنى.
I'm Hamda. I have MS from 12 years. I take blood every 6 months. I put blood, and this make يعني it's so hard for me. And now after listening to you, I know what's the problem. Because I have يعني the doctors give me calcium, and they said don't eat zinc. And I tried to read on the net and يعني to make myself يعني because I don't eat many things. I don't eat not all the food, but now I know the reason because of the calcium, and I eat every day iron. And I told you I put the blood not iron, just iron. I put blood every يعني 6 months. I should sit with you and discuss.
أكيد. I'm happy to answer any question.
أنا فاطمة راشد، معي اسمي 11 سنة. صارت عندي المشكلة، أنا آكل كل شيء، مش مانعة نفسي من أي شيء حرمة، بس عندي مشكلة شو؟ مشكلة دائما الفيتامينات ناقصة، B12، فيتامين د، الدم الحديد دائما نازل، يعني كلها عن طريق الوريد آخذه، بس يعني خاصة B12 دائما نازل عندي، يعني أحس دائما مالي مرهقة، دائما تعبانة، يعني مش عارفة شو السبب.
حتى بعد
الأدوية، حتى بعد الأدوية آخذ فترة وبعدين أرجع مرة ثانية، يعني
فترة
أنا عاملاها حق الدكتورة،
كل
لازم تعبيني بترول، إذا ما عبيتيني بترول ما أمشي.
خلص.
أيوة يخلص، أحس بعمري إنه بسرعة الفيتامينات مع ناقصة، مع إني ما عملت.
هلا مرات
طبيعة الجسم
مرات
عندي
الجينات يعني في أشخاص عندهم جينات معينة يعني ما بيقدروا يستخدموا أو يستعملوا الفيتامين metabolize or basically to use يستعملوا البي 12. أوكي هلا عادة في كذا سبب. أوكي بس أكيد لما يكون في نقص البي فيتامينز that was the question.
Yes.
البي 12 بي 9 بي 1 بي 2 بي 3 الواحد أكيد حيحس بتعب بإرهاق. لأنه البي فيتامينز أساسية أنا كنت عم بحكي عن الميتوكوندريا. الميتوكوندريا هي جزء من الخلايا أو السيلز اللي يعني it's responsible to produce energy. أوكي فيعني هي الميتوكوندريا تحتاج المغنيسيوم، تحتاج البي فيتامينز، كل البي فيتامينز. فإذا في نقص بأي مصدر من البي فيتامينز الواحد طبيعي يعني هاي السايكل لنقول الانرجي سايكل يعني ما حتقدر it's not going to work very well.
اوكي بس
كمان
بس شو الاسباب يعني مثلا بسرعه تنقص الفيتامينات؟ يعني انا الحين في الصيف سافرت ما اخذت حتى 20 يوم، حسيت عمري تعبانه، رجعت على السيكل حسيت عمري
هلا بيكون في عوامل كثيره،
طاقتي تعب رايحه.
يعني اجمالا الفتيج والارهاق يعني it's very common in MS. اوكي وبيكون في عوامل كثيره. هلا نقص فيتامين بي 12 يمكن يكون سبب، بس كمان في مرات اسباب ثانيه، فاحنا لازم نعرف بالضبط لكل شخص يمكن يكون مختلف. The fatigue for example for every person it can be a different cause. Okay and sometimes it's a lack of certain vitamins.
I was
maybe the medication that she's taking as
the
well.
medication,
and I was going to mention also that
environmental
functional medical doctors and regular doctors, this is the big difference between them. So I have been seeing a functional doctor for the past, even before my diagnosis. I started in my 20s seeing functional doctors for myself. And I feel like when the biggest thing is when they do blood tests, you do your B test, you do your D test, important tests. For them, for regular doctors, they will stop at the minimum.
Yes.
Yes.
Functional doctors want your levels to be
Optimal.
optimal.
We
Yes.
always say.
So whenever I take my tests, for example, my results to a regular, I'm doing like, let's say a hormone testing to my regular doctor, you know, so you're fine.
Yeah. You don't need
Everything is
anything.
fine.
thumbs up, you're doing great, everything's okay.
But when you go to a functional doctor, like, you're not fine.
Yes.
You actually
That's-
need a lot more than what you're getting. And I'm not talking just for patients with MS, patients that don't even have MS.
Yeah.
So imagine how much more care we need, you know, when it comes to the doses of vitamins and minerals.
It's, you know,
It's crucial. For me, it was life-changing to go see a functional doctor.
Yes.
I'm happy to recommend. There's a big network of functional medicine practitioners based in the UAE, mostly in Dubai, but they all do virtual sessions. But you know, I touched upon the different thing. We sometimes look at additional labs, but even the typical labs like vitamin D, thyroid, you know, حتى يمكن you need to check your thyroid. يعني مرات عوامل ثانية. عرفتي كيف؟ لازم you have to do a very comprehensive, detailed checkup. But we always say what's normal is not optimal. So for example, B12, okay? The range maybe is, I don't know, 200 to 800. So if you are 250 or 300, perfect, normal. But in functional medicine, we want it to be around 550, 600, because that's optimal. It's not enough just to be in the range, okay? These ranges can be very wide, and you know, they're sometimes it's just enough, you know, to prevent, let's say, a deficiency. But now we want to talk about, you know, optimal health, functioning as best as we can, and especially again, as you mentioned with MS, we need to look even deeper, and we need to be even more. You know, vitamin D definitely has to be in the higher range because it's very, you know, for autoimmune conditions, whether it's thyroid, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, whether it's multiple sclerosis, you do want vitamin D. You know, you don't want it to be toxic levels, but you do want it to be on the higher end. Magnesium, sometimes even when you test for magnesium, the way we test for magnesium is different. We look at red blood cell magnesium, but when you go, you know, when you take it general, let's say serum, it's not the most accurate. Okay, so definitely from functional medicine lens or angle, we look at things from a different way. It doesn't mean that conventional medicine is wrong, not at all.
No, but
we
they
just think,
just
how do we
dig
complement
deeper.
one
They
another?
dig deeper.
We dig
They
deeper
really do.
to
And
understand.
it makes a difference. Like, I had some thyroid issue, and I went to she's a functional gynecologist. So I go to her every 6 months. I do all my tests with her, and she said, "But your thyroids are functioning okay, but there's still." We did scans, we did deeper blood work. She didn't understand, and then she went and did an iodine test. Who would know that an iodine, and I was low on iodine, actually was triggering me? So they just really do dig in deeper. And it's really
Heavy metals
important.
is a big thing as well.
Yes,
Active,
heavy metals
you
are-
know,
I don't know in the UAE if they do chelation therapy here.
there is, yes.
They do? Okay, because I've done it myself twice, and I'll tell you, it was life-changing to do it.
What's that? Sorry.
Removing the heavy metals,
You're binding them, chelating, you're getting rid of
heavy metals.
things like mercury, arsenic, lead. So there's different ways
That
to
you-
test for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Okay.
Some are more accurate than others.
And you've accumulated this throughout your life. So through lead,
There's a skin of fish
Through
is high in
fish.
mercury, I think so.
a fish, yes. So usually shark. The bigger the fish, usually, the more likely, the higher the levels of mercury.
environmentally
Usually.
and in food, right? We can get
Mercury or
levels of
heavy
mercury,
metals in general.
arsenic.
Yeah.
So
Deodorants, beauty care products.
It's a therapy that you go through. Some of it can be. I did a tablet form, but there is, I think, intravenous form of it. But it's removing the toxic heavy metals from your body.
Yeah, and it's very common, you know, in general population. So it's just, you know, understanding nutritional deficiencies, food sensitivities, allergies and intolerances, understanding any, heavy metal toxicity or toxicity from other things, okay, that can impact cellular health, mitochondrial health, and we didn't even stress and trauma and sleep habits.
So that
and
was our
movement.
next question: is lifestyle, and you can all help us here. So lifestyle changes. If you can each give us a lifestyle change, or that you've been through that has really helped you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Want to start?
More sleep, more water.
More sleep. So sleep. Let's talk about sleep. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, sleep is it's a non-negotiable. All of these are non-negotiables, but sleep
is really
is
non-negotiable.
non-negotiable. And it's not enough just to say, I got 9 hours and you slept at 1 a.m. and then woke up at, 10 or 11 a.m. No, the body, the circadian rhythm is so important. There are certain times during, at night that you detoxify. Your gut microbiome has its own circadian rhythm. Your genes function at a certain circadian rhythm. So, it's so important that
and getting your sleep pattern.
Getting your sleep pattern.
Right.
And unfortunately, what's one of the worst things we can do for sleep?
Screens.
Phone.
Yeah.
Which we all do, I'm sure, or TV. And being on your phone before you sleep, the blue light impacts the production of melatonin.
Yes.
By the way, melatonin is also something that's really good for MS. You can find melatonin. Let me just have a look over here in things like beef. Where did it go? Eggs, certain types of nuts like almonds, meat, salmon, milk. Well, put dairy aside, but seeds. But melatonin is great. Melatonin is your sleep hormone, and you can eat some of these foods to increase your production of melatonin.
The sun.
Sorry?
This being out in the sun.
Yeah, absolutely. It can help regulate your melatonin.
So as soon as I wake up, I go straight to the sun.
Cortisol.
I move.
And melatonin.
I move and go to the sun, even if it's for 5 minutes. So
within
that affects your sleep cycle.
And it's early morning sun.
Yeah, early morning
So
sun.
it's
not
let's say
I'm waiting
when
for the
you
sun
wake
every
up
morning,
6, 7 a.m.
You still have sun, even if it's daisy
we're
and
lucky.
We're in the
Yeah, I
UAE, alhamdulillah,
There's
still
there's
sun.
plenty full of sun.
Yeah.
So as soon as you wake up in the morning, it regulates your energy levels, it regulates your cortisol levels, because cortisol levels peak in the morning. So just open the window. Your face, your body does need to get exposed to sun, even if it's 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or
Perfect.
longer, but 5 minutes minimum, and expose your body.
Absolutely.
So you need to find a safe place where you can do that. But really, you have to have, they say 70% of your body exposed.
Even as much, even if it's your face
and it
and
helps
your
your
arms.
mood. It helps you sleep better at night. It really does reset your circadian rhythm to get out.
You know what, Fatima? It's really sometimes these simple things that we can do, whether it's diet, whether it's a bit more movement, whether it's early morning sun exposure, whether it's choosing, saying, okay, after 9 p.m., let's say, I'm not going to be touching my phone or watching TV. Maybe reading, Quran, reading a book, or listening to something, just something for you to relax. Okay, but it's these simple things that we can do that can over time really help improve our health. But going back to sleep, again, blue light, and this is something I'm guilty of. But
I have actually blue light glasses that I order by the package. Each child, I have them hung there in my house, so everyone picks it up and puts it on. I was like, if you're going to be on your phones after 6, put on the blue light glasses, just because it blocks. If you have work to do on your computer, you're watching TV.
Will protect.
And ultimately, it's best to put it away 2 hours before going to bed.
Ideally, you start slow. If you're so used to it, just even if you say an hour before bed, try 30 minutes before bed, and gradually, at least an hour or 2. But that will impact the production of melatonin. Okay, so that's one thing we can do. Trying to go to bed at a certain time every evening, you create that balance and that routine. So ideally by 10, 10:30, maybe maximum 11. But if you normally go to bed at 2, even if you start going to bed at 12, that's good enough. Okay, so start slow. Work with what goes for you. Don't jump. Some people can't. It depends. But start with what you think you can do as a small step. But most important is also consistency. So the consistency. We all get excited. Sometimes we want to eat a salad every day, or start to sleep at 10 p.m. but sometimes we lose motivation. Okay, it's okay. Everybody goes through that. Remember, health and healing. It's. I wish it was nice, like a nice smooth path, but it's always ups and downs for every single person. Okay, when you have that extra support, then that makes a big difference. From family, from friends, from health coaches, from your physician, from people you genuinely trust. Okay, so those small habits that you can incorporate in your day-to-day life, being consistent with them, maintaining a sleep schedule, trying to incorporate as much movement as you can, in whatever way, shape, or form that's best for you. Whether it's a PT who can help tailor your workout, whether it's seated. There is definitely, fitness routines that can be modified according to how you're feeling.
He mentioned sleep and water intake.
Yeah.
So with water, do you recommend putting anything in the water?
Yeah.
Like electrolytes?
Yeah, I mean,
sodium.
I like, sometimes people put some Celtic salt. Sometimes you can put electrolytes, but as long as they're unsweetened, sometimes there are all sorts of
minerals,
strange supplements. Minerals. I use some good minerals. You just literally add a few drops or a teaspoon or so. But if just carry the water with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
Because we often tend to forget, and we are constantly cleansing our body when through bowel movements, through frequent bowel movements, and through hydration and through sweat, we're cleansing the body.
How much water is too much? Because I read somewhere that if it's less than 10 liters of water, you're okay because it's going to come out anyways.
Look, that could differ from person to person. Again, it depends on whether, how active a person is, how much they're sweating. Yeah. I would say, maybe about 12 cups, 12 to 15 cups. But again, it depends. You know what I mean? I think if you're comfortable, I think we can all afford to drink more, put it that way.
3-4 liters, 5 liters.
3-4 liters, I guess it would be good. Yeah. And then you're getting fluids as well from other, let's say, fruits, vegetables, herbal teas, broths. Or if you drink a bit of coffee. Bone broth is a great thing as well to incorporate. So you were getting fluids from other foods as well. Yeah. But just, make sure that you've got water there with you wherever you go.
Cheers.
Cheers. So any lifestyle changes you can share?
Actually, nothing will be said after sleeping, but for me, it was like the sport. The sport was
exercise.
It wasn't something new for me because I was daily doing sport, but in my for example, regularly, or we will be having a stress time or time that it will be hard for us or not be motivated to do sport as much as we can. I'm not talking about intense sport, of course, but sport is like everything. It will let the stress, the negative energy, you will get energy. You will let out the negative energy. Will get a positive energy again. Whatever sport you are doing. So for me, sport was like something it helped me a lot to go through my symptoms, to go through everything with MS and with any depression or any stressful happen through or even without MS. So it's very important. It's after sleeping, of course.
And by the way, even exercise, can help with sleep.
Yeah.
And when you feel refreshed and you sleep well, you feel more energetic to work out. So it all
completes each other.
Completes one another. Anybody else would like to share?
Anybody else? Lifestyle changes?
For me, previously I'm a mother of 4. So I was taking responsibility of each single thing for my kids. Now it's totally changed. I delegate to their father.
Good job. We need to learn from you.
Doctor appointments, parents meetings. Okay, I don't have to go for all of this. You need to be involved because I need to take rest as well.
Yes.
I'm a working mother, so it's supposed to be equal responsibility between myself and him. This is something that MS, let's say, had taught me, of forced me to do it.
Right. I love it because, I love how empowered everyone is. First of all, there's no shame in asking for help. Okay, and sometimes maybe, as moms, as women, sometimes there's, a stigma. But there's no shame to ask, to say, to scream out, I need help. That's totally fine. But then to see what can I do, these simple things that I could get rid of or I could give to somebody else that's going to make me feel so much better. So, it's amazing. Good for you.
Amazing.
And sleep, of course, like 9:30 sharp, everyone goes to sleep.
Yeah, that's how it is in my house.
Good for you.
And they're learning from that too, the kids. Yeah.
Another thing, I wanted to say as well is, I think we spoke about so many things, but, it's also important to make changes to, we're exposed to a lot. We spoke about heavy metals, etc. But remember, the beauty care products that we use, the household products that we use, it's always important to just kind of read the label. And of course, our food as well, we need to read the label. But always try to make better options, cleaner options, more, let's say, natural, organic.
Yeah,
The
so
less
I
toxins
do all
we
of
have, the
my
better.
cleaning products, we do them at home. We don't buy any cleaning products from outside.
What
and
do you
I've been
use?
doing this for 12 years.
Yeah.
So since I was diagnosed, that's the first thing I did, because I went into the bathroom and you smell the Dettol, and your eyes start, it does affect you with all those years. So a lot of the things I use is vinegar, alcohol. I do baking soda is a big one. And then washing soda. Some of the things I have to hunt for, but I get the products. And then Castile soap is another one. So it's just 5 ingredients, and there's something for everything.
Yes.
And it makes a great difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's just to be
And
more...
the deodorant, like you said,
The deodorant
we put
is
on.
aluminum. It's, there's always healthier options. The same with food. We're always trying to make healthier substitutes, avoid the sugar or use better sugar alternatives like maple syrup, honey. It's the same with beauty care products. There's always cleaner products that we can choose and that we can use. Alhamdulillah, now in the UAE, even online, there's an abundance of options. Okay, so it's just first, it's to have the awareness. Second is to start, what am I using the most? Am I putting foundation on my face every day? Okay, what can I substitute it with? So it's these simple things that can really make a difference, because what we put on our skin is going to end up in our body. The skin is the biggest organ, so it's going to absorb all this. Okay.
Okay, I think we are almost done. But before that, I wanted to touch on intermittent fasting.
Okay.
It is part of our culture here, and there are so many studies out there that are saying how much it helped, especially autoimmune diseases. So what is your opinion on intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting, again, it's a big trend, it's a big buzzword, and it's something I think we've been doing, for centuries and centuries as parts of cultures, traditions, religions. So look, I think there's a lot of documented health benefits under the scope of multiple sclerosis, but even for longevity, diabetes, or blood sugar balance, gut health. So the health benefits have been documented. Now, there are different types and forms of intermittent fasting or time-restricted feeding. So I like to think of time-restricted feeding, where you fast, you do an overnight fast. Let's say you stop eating at maybe at least 2 to 3 hours before you sleep. So let's say maybe 6, 7 p.m. Okay, and then you eat the following day, maybe 14, 15 hours later. Start with 12 hours. Okay, so let's say 7 to 7. So if it works for you, and it usually works for most people, if you start with 12, 13 hours, you can build gradually 13, 14, 15 hours. Now, not everybody needs to do 16 to 18 hours. Some people will do 24-hour fasts, 3, 4, 5 day fasts. For me, I would rather do something or incorporate something that we can be consistent with and it's sustainable as part of our lives. So it's something that I would recommend because there's a lot of health benefits associated to it. Whether it's, autophagy, or let's say recycling of cells, health and longevity. So, try it. It's worth, again, it's all trial and error. But I think 12 hours is easily doable, and you can slowly extend. On the days you feel very fatigued, listen to your body. Don't push yourself. I need to do the 15 hours. No, No, it's okay. Just listen to your body. Do, I don't know, the 12 hours or 13 hours. You might need to do just the 10 hours. That's okay. But just try, see what works with you. Again, the health benefits are there.
Yeah.
If doing it too extreme, sometimes, again, as women, it can impact hormone health,
Yes,
for example.
exactly.
So, the 16 to 18 hours. But even, sometimes myself, I like to do, let's say, 13, 14, but maybe twice a week, I'll push it to 16 hours, for example. So sometimes you can challenge yourself a little bit more, during the week. But ultimately, listen to your body. If you feel fatigued, shaky, dizzy, grab something to eat. Your sugar levels have dropped. But, it's, and again, how do you find fasting in Ramadan, let's say?
Yeah.
Just the first 2 days it's
أكيد
hard.
أول
then
يومين
it gets easier.
صداع وجع
And then
رأس.
you're okay. After 2 days, it's
And sometimes
totally
you
fine.
feel
Yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
feel better.
Yes.
A lot of people actually feel better.
Feeling
And
bright.
you know what? Also, it's tricky because some people say I do intermittent fasting, but then when they're eating, it's the sugar, the fried foods. It's the same with Ramadan. Sometimes, alhamdulillah, طبعا there's a nice
so there
buffet,
is
but there's a technique.
Yes, there's a technique, and some will fast and then crash on sugar.
Yes.
And of course, that's not going to help
Yeah.
us. So then we would prefer, I'm sure you would say, no, then if you can't,
Yeah.
if you're going to crash on sugar,
Yes.
it's better to have a balanced
Absolutely.
diet than crash.
Yeah. Especially if you're fasting and then you grab, something that's higher in sugar, it's not so recommended. At least, if you're having something, even dates. I would say, for example, dates maybe with some walnuts, for example, because dates are going to spike your sugar levels. So maybe some walnuts with it is better. And intermittent fasting with calorie restriction also for some people has been shown to be effective. Ultimately, I think we spoke about so many things. I'm happy to answer your questions one-on-one. I hope this was informative. We can go for, I think, hours talking about nutrition because it's never ending. But a personalized approach, always, do it under the let's say, supervision of a healthcare professional, dietitian who can really support you. Functional medicine, functional nutrition is, I think we are both fans of, and integrative health. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you
a
all
lot,
for
Farah.
joining. We
Thank
really
you, Fatima.
appreciate you coming, and we hope you had an informative session. And we're here to answer some questions, and I think we're ready for the.
We can quickly
for
do a demonstration.
For the demonstration, we have
And some
Farah
light
is going to
bites.
be doing
A chocolate pudding, avocado chocolate pudding, a healthy dessert.
Okay.
for us to try. Please join us.
So here we have a very simple, delicious, nutritious, high antioxidant dessert. And we were talking about healthy eating, and healthy eating doesn't really have to be complicated. Sometimes a few simple ingredients is all you need to make, whether it's a healthy dessert, a healthy smoothie, a healthy stew, salad. So this is just one example. It's an avocado, cacao, or avocado chocolate pudding. Okay. So what we're gonna do, remember we spoke about avocados as being very rich in monounsaturated fats, healthy fats that have anti-inflammatory effects in the body. Cacao is also one of the best, unsweetened, of course, anti-inflammatory foods. It's high in magnesium, and by the way, avocados are also high in magnesium. So this is a magnesium-rich dessert. Cacao is also rich in something called PQQ. PQQ is short for a very long scientific word, but it's excellent for mitochondrial and cellular health, to help the cells produce more energy. And then we have a bit of salt, some vanilla, a bit of lemon, and maple syrup. So, I usually get asked, what is the best sweetener? We want to stay away from, of course, sugar, right? White sugar, even brown sugar. And the healthier alternative, sometimes you can use dates or bananas, ripe bananas. You can use natural maple syrup. You can use honey. A bit of stevia is okay. What else do some of you use? I would stay away from, by the way, I would rather natural sweeteners like stevia compared to let's say, let's say aspartame, for example. It's been in the news, okay? So natural sweeteners are usually more recommended, okay? And of course, in controlled amounts. So what we're gonna do now, And then this is some anti-inflammatory berries, rich in, of course, polyphenols to support the gut microbiome. These are used just as topping. طيب, okay. All you need is a blender, these ingredients, and inshallah تعجبكم. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I'll give you this. Let's maybe scoop out. We're gonna try putting just one avocado now. Hold on. Okay. I think we're gonna need another spoon.
Can we get another spoon?
Okay, just help me scoop it out. Okay, this is a lot of pressure, يعني, كمان on the screen. I don't know how chefs do this. And okay. Okay. Any questions while we're scooping out the avocado?
No.
Has anybody ever tried this?
Yes.
I think someone said you did, Fatima.
Yeah.
You did, Papa?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if I'll put it all. Let's just maybe put, I might add later, but let's put a bit of the vanilla. Okay. A bit of salt. Oh. That's a salty dessert.
It's a dessert.
خليني أشوف لحظة.
Why the salt?
حطيت كتير يمكن.
Why the salt?
Why the salt? The recipe, but it also maybe gives it just a bit of extra
We're
flavor.
used to putting salt on avocado.
بس هلا الله يستر الصوت يعني.
Palate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Avocado and salt is good.
But we can share the recipe.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll share it. But first, let's try. Do you want to help me maybe put? Well, let's grab a clean tablespoon, and then some maple syrup. Okay. Let's try 1 tablespoon. هلا this is تقريبا 2 tablespoons هون.
2 tablespoons.
حطي شوي. خلينا نشوف. Okay. Yeah, let's try. Okay. So let's mix, and then someone can volunteer to try and tell us what we need to add. The berries to top.
Okay.
خلينا بس نجرب. Okay. لأنه I don't have the exact measurements with me at this point in time. Okay. Okay.
شغلة
Just
الاسبريسو
switch it.
قاعد
It's gonna burn.
بعدين.
You smell something?
بده
wanna
شالوه
call the
بده
fire
شوية مي.
department?
Maybe a bit of water.
Yeah, a little
please.
bit of water.
وراهم الواتر
Pudding. Sticky pudding.
We might need a little bit of
Water, بده water.
Yeah, here we go.
I promise you the smell is good, صح? The chocolate. Try to use raw, organic raw cocoa powder.
Is that good?
Unsweetened.
Put a little bit.
Maybe a bit more. خلينا نشوف. Let's see. Okay. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took over your role here.
No,
Helping
it's
out.
Yeah, it's not closing from the other side. No. Yes. There you go. Okay. It should be good now. Yeah.
All right, all set.
Okay, let's try. مين بتحب تجرب؟ Let's first try, see if it needs anything.
Should we put it on here?
Okay,
Go ahead.
يلا تفضلي.
لا بولي يعني كده.
Oh, berries. No, please.
Antioxidants.
Just a spoon, please. Anti-inflammatory, polyphenol-rich berries. Okay. طمنينا.
ايه
شو ناقصه؟ حلاوة.
حبيتيها. Right.
اوكي.
حط ليمون. حط شوي ليمون.
انا نزل مني. الحق علي انا شوي كترت.
فينا نحط
هاي هون ملح، انا كان المفروض
فينا نحط
احط
شوي ليمون.
اوكي.
اوكي.
كمان ميبل سيرب.
اوكي وشوي
طيب.
maple syrup.
اوكي. Let me put all of this avocado.
هذا السيرب.
يا صح. خليني اخلص هذا اصلا.
اوكي.
انا شرحت ماي
هذا بعدين
بس هلا
بتسوي لي سويت لازم تعرفين الدول هذا السيرم هذا.
It smells good though. It smells very good.
It smells very good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
اوكي.
Some water.
Some water as well. Yeah. ليمون. هلا حيجي دورة. You can put by a bit of coconut milk if you like this taste of coconut. There you go.
يريد ماي.
عايشة
جرانول والله.
ماسكة وايد ولا
أو فيك تحطي مثلا السنفلاور pumpkin seeds.
I think I need to put some more water.
Water.
Yeah. شوي. I know the original recipe I don't think puts that much water.
No, there wasn't even water. بس ما عليه.
No, there's no water.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Next.
There we go.
Everyone's gonna taste this.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. Let's give it a try.
زينة
Here, would you like to put some toppings?
Yeah.
We can pass it around. Here we go.
Yeah, أنا already لحظة.
How many? Everyone wants to try?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No.
Someone say that.
Follow the recipe.
This recipe can be modified طبعا فيكم تعدلوا عليها بالبيت. بس طريقة صحية.
حسيها بهاي الريسبي.
اللي الصراحة
تحسي
الريحة
بالريسبي.
طيبة. أنا عندي.
صح؟
تفضل.
شكرا يعني.
لبكنا.
مين ده؟
Sure.
ما أعرف شو.
So you're doing raspberries. Okay.
ما دقت لسه.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, لا. والله it's okay. A good portion.
I don't know. Do we have enough for everybody?
We can do some more.
Yeah.
It's enough. See, خلاص.
أي دواء أخذته؟ أي دواء تعالجتي فيه؟ أي دواء أخذته؟
كمان لحظة. يلا.
And also, please feel free to the food we have here as well. تتفضلوا. Sorry. تتفضلوا على أكلهم. These, yes? I'm sure it was a healthy,
Yeah.
وقفوا